Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is a high probability watch list combination, education combination. Just an all-out great video. It's a big one tonight. It's probably going to be broken down into two sections: the members section, and of course the people who get it through YouTube and wherever else. And but I'm going to give a lot of information out here today. And it's just been such a great a week here, and I love these charts this week. The charts are lining up. The market has actually acted good, even though we had like a 4 or 5 day pullback. Nothing really came of that other than an opportunity, and those opportunities came out very clear, and they're very clear going forward now. So we're going to actually have a lot to talk about today. I'm excited for next week. You're just looking at a chart on the right here on the screen. It's Verizon. Verizon, of course, is, everyone knows Verizon. It's a great company. It has, it's just all over the place. Everyone knows about it. It's a big part of, the internet and TV. People, I don't need to tell you anything about Verizon. You know it. The fact is, I like to trade things that I know. Feel very comfortable in a stock like Verizon, especially when you're able to identify big patterns in it. And once you start to identify a pattern in a stock, and it usually patterns over and over again. It's just about being at the right time at the right place. That is the key to trading. At the right time at the right place. Depending on your time frame. But once you're able to identify, what I, define into a HPS setup. How to recognize a channel, how to trade off of that recognizable channel. This is how you define a 1, 2, 3 pattern. So it's very easy to trade the number 4 and have the other indicators line up, and it becomes over and over again divergences, channels. So there's so many different ways that I would trade this, but I would only trade it at certain levels. And that's the key to HPS. We don't want to be, we just don't want to have the high probability setup. There's a high probability setup that, we got an oversold level here. This is not giving us other prior indicators, not a good example, but I would say right here, there's a great oversold level. There's a great 1, 2, 3 pattern. There's a great candlestick reversal here. This becomes an HPS setup all the way. From that point on, you get a nice little push here, and it's very obvious to see a little area resistance here. And this is, the market comes back down. Hopefully you got out on overbought levels. You took profits. And then the next thing you know, it's pulling back again. But look at this. Stochastics rotated back. You're following the stock because it's one of your focus stocks. And you notice that the low is now higher than the previous low. In a downward channel based off a 1, 2, 3 pattern. The stochastics can oversold, holding above that thing, tells us that's a divergence in the channel. That's another trade that I take. So it gives you an opportunity right here, another high probability setup. Then you have the breakout, and then you get overbought, and then it starts pulling back. And now we start following it again, understanding, hey, this thing is going to come back into our wheelhouse again. And when you see the pullback, and it might be flagging out, and just, you could get impatient. You could get in yesterday, and it's not moving. It moved down yesterday, then back up today. But the fact is, we're in the right area. I am almost guaranteeing that from like this level here, we got a nice move. Like from this level here, we had a nice move. From this level here, we're going to get a nice move. And so when we identify that, we start to watch it on a tighter time frame, that 60-minute chart. And then the 60-minute chart yesterday, I tell you, we were on top of it. We saw the price coming down to it. I said, I already marked this out, I think, the day before, and I woke up this in the morning, and it's next thing you know, we're down to that trend line, and we take that trade. And we take that trade because everything lined up. Another concept is called multiple time frames on the HPS, so you know about that. That all told us to get in. We broke it down all the way on the 15-minute time frame right here. The 5-minute time frame right here. All these things played out together. And that's what an HPS trade is. So right now we're in an HPS zone on Verizon. And, after we did get that nice area, it was going to be a scalp. But the scalp ended up closing very close to the highs. And I said, this is important. This adds another indicator to the HPS. You had a beautiful reversal candlestick yesterday. A big candle on some increased volume. And it was, technically what we call a hammer. And that's usually after an end of a move, and when we have an oversold stochastic, I call that a candlestick, a stochastic combination. And it basically, it's the stochastics are oversold, and if I get one of the 4 reversal candles that I use, I consider that a buy situation. So we had that good. I decided to hold that trade over. We're still holding it, and it ripped today. We got a nice follow through on Verizon. Verizon, look at the nice move. Look at the daily. So everything looks great on Verizon going forward. And that's that's just a little of what's going on in this market. All right, that's a little bit what I'm doing. I'm trying to hold on, to just to the patience and the discipline that, taking only some really good stuff. I think that's the most important thing right now. A little weird candle there I want to get rid of for you. Ignore that. This is how the market ended today. Let's take a look at the market now. This was also very exciting this week. And the reason it was, if you're a chart nerd like me, you start to look, I'm saying, all right, pull back. A lot of people out there saying, oh my God, market has 4-day pullback. Things could get serious now. This is why this time it's different. Why this time everything is different, and that we're going to break down and stuff. But that needs to. And I was like, all right, I'll go with that. Stochastics are turning over. We got a nice little move, but it still looks healthy. I said yesterday, stochastics coming down real fast. We're holding that 20-period moving average. This market feels like it wants to go higher, So it broke this down, and we said, all right, look at this 60-minute chart. And this I want to do an educational video on right after I do the videos tonight. But this is going to be an education. What we did, I don't know if I ever did one. I do the main educations on the stochastics, but we never really talked about the lane divergence. And this is a good example of what I call the lane divergence. The lower lows on the stock price, but the higher lows on the stochastics. And I would only use it on the 60 or the daily, preferably on the daily. But because it's such a perfect one here and it's such a perfect one here, you can't deny. You got to watch it. You got to see how it reacts. This candlestick right here is a bad print at the end of the day. So just forget about that one. I could get rid of it, but it keeps on popping back up, and that's what happens on sometimes on IQ charts. See, it just pops up there. So it's kind of throwing this out. If I got rid of that candle, you would see the stochastics adjust to back up here. Now we're kind of flatlining here. You can see the 60 here's flatline. So we might even, we got that breakout. The thing is that we have the breakout that's going to take us to new highs. We had a good jobs report out. Everything seems to be running smooth. Unemployment's dropped to 7. In the market, we talked about this going into today. How is the market going to react to this? Well, it reacted to the upside. And again, this candle's a little bit. So right now we're in a process of just continued flag out, move up. Market flag out, move up, flag out, move up, flag out, move up. We could get some follow through just going into next week. This could just be a 4-day pit stop, and we're going to go on to new highs. We get another crossover. Christmas is coming up, the so-called legendary Santa Claus rally, the last 5 days of December, the first 2 in January. We have these things lining up in front of us, so it's going to make for an interesting month. Let's take a look at what is also setting up and what we're trading right now. All right, here's Xilinx. We had that trade last week. Worked out good. It was a nice coil stochastic, nice pullback to lower trend line, recognizable pattern. Moved out fine. It was a good little trade. Again, just going over some of the things that are in the, you can see the stochastics and the price relationship here. This is one that always has a good price stochastic relationship. Very clean on the pullback for, even though it's an ADR and it kind of, has some gappage in it, it still moves in the right direction when it does, when it shows that. Sometimes it's embedded, it doesn't move as fast, but it does give you great signals, and we took that signal off of that last oversold and got rid of it on the push up. And cash here didn't like it. It came down, it bounced. We're actually in the money on this one. Then it got away on me. I ended up taking it off. I had 40 shares of it. Just it's other better fish to fry out there. And I might even have this trend line here a little. That's about right there. But you could see we kind of broke down through that, and I just wasn't feeling comfortable. It's an important thing to be on the right, in the right stock if you're going to use technical. Right now, a stock that has continued to be kind of weak or has that longer downtrending line, tends to, stay with the trend. So it's very hard sometimes to find a bottom on this. But it's still, honestly, looking at it longer term here, it looks good. I mean, I just didn't stick with it. It's probably going to come back. I bet you we got out, I got out right at the place where we should really be getting in. But a stock that I normally don't trade, so I kind of just trying to do the right thing. SLCA, great setup, great flag. We took this trade, what's called a wide flag, coil stochastic breakout. You can see how it broke out and pushed higher. Excellent on that. Agilent, this is a nice pullback, and I liked it. We just pulled back to the 20-period moving average after it gapped up. So we just waited for it to pull back, got back to the 20. Actually, I think I was timing this on the 60. We took the trade. Oh, here it is. This is what I took it. Again, the 60-minute chart has been golden for us, and this is why we got into this one. This was just a little overnight trade. Came down to this level, got into it, and it popped up the next day. Took profits. It's continued to move up higher. But that's exactly what you want to do. That's what patience gets you, It just looks so good. It had so many things lining up for it. The 200 on the 5-minute, the 20 on the daily, the lower trend line, the oversold stochastic, the recognizable pattern. It was just a pure play. So, again, we're still on the hunt for those. And we got some great ones for this week. Great ones for this week. Oh, my God. He's going to shock the world. So many other good setups we've taken. Lululemon. Do we have a scalp on that? Again, just look at my charts and you can see exactly what I'm looking for and what's been showing up. Divergence here on the 60-minute chart. Nice channel. Downward channels typically make a big move to the upside when you start getting down into that channel, as long as it's a stock that, is not a turd. You're going to get that reaction more likely. And especially when you're able to identify that reaction using the different indicators. You look for divergences. You just start to look at relative strength, and then you get your move. But it all comes down to different time frames, multiple time frame entries, everything. Day trading radio. You know what? This is probably going out to the YouTube crowd out there. I should make an announcement. I know I've been doing this for going on 7-8 years now. Day trading radio, and we've. First time, I think, in two years, we're going to raise the prices in January. So starting in January, we're going to raise the prices. So I'm giving everyone a fair warning because, in the HPS thing, we send it all, all these setups are already on the HPS site. They get emailed to you automatically when they touch and they trigger and stuff. And I definitely recommend people checking it out, for 2 weeks free before the price raises. For those who are members already locked in, they don't have to worry about it. The price never changes, even if the price goes up. So those people are always locked in. If you're in at $29.95, which it is a month, you're locked in for life for that. In January, it's going to $49.95. First time ever, double in price. So we did a lot of work on the site, We have a lot more things coming, really big things, and, so we're giving you a fair warning. I think it's a great opportunity. It's almost like a stock that's going to split. Get in now, and the next thing you know, it's going to be worth twice as much. Buy a lot of them. So that's it. I got that announcement out of the way. And Lululemon, again, look at this, what we're seeing here on Lululemon right now. Even though we identified this, I could identify right now another nice flag here going into next week. I didn't even notice this one on my other research I was doing, which has this week's picks on it. But this is a nice one right now. We're not totally oversold on the 60. Very close to it. I'd pay attention to this one next week, Monday. Take a look at it. Little flag out. It's a little crossover. I'm going to watch it. You could see, man, we bust these charts out, don't we? Everything. All these pivot areas we find it. Channels within channels. Everything lining up. Everything moving. Great stuff. IBM. We're in that one. Look at this. This is kind of a setup for this week. It's a freebie because it's, we've been trading it live every day. And it's a pure stochastic divergence channel but a wedge pattern, a falling wedge. So many great things about this chart, and a great stock overall. The divergence is very powerful. Nice pullback from the 20 period moving average way under the 200. Beautiful wedge pattern. 60-minute chart, same thing. You came down to a 3 pivot point buy area, and right from this level you started getting all those things lining up, and now we're starting to move up and out. 60-minute chart ran a little problem. You already got a nice profit on it, but the overall wedge pattern here on this is very strong for a stock like this. We're already starting to see the divergence starting to move back up. I think next week this could have a decent week. And I love, it's not many times that IBM doesn't just kind of cycle up and then cycle down and doesn't get embedded too much. So we've been embedded here a little. It's probably close to getting a return back up. Momentum will start picking up and we'll push back into this trend line. I have this on the HPS site, so all the alerts are set there. You already have those. And we'll move on to the next one. So that's exactly what we have coming for you this week. What other ones do we want to look at? And don't forget, I'm going to do an educational video on the stochastic divergence because it's just such a great setup this week. Again, looking at that 60-minute stochastic divergence. Such a great way of reading the markets. Looking out over here, seeing flag after flag. Don't mind this candlestick. But the divergence is such a great example right there. Always look at them. Look for them. Chefs, ZMH, MSG, Dollar General, LTD was my short from a couple weeks ago. That did not work out. Shorts, you're not going to see too many shorts from me the next week. Not until this market either fails the attempt to get to new highs. If we do that, then it's a different story altogether. Another stock we traded this week, we got our first entry in, and I talked about this last week on last week's video, is the utility sector. The utility sector is setting up the XLU. XLU was the utility ETF. This is focus for me, and you could see exactly what happened. Identified this divergence that was happening here. The pullback to the trend line. We started going sideways. Now we're going to start looking to go up. And look, here we are. There's right next. It was right under the candle. It started following the candle exactly. And that's great. That's on the 60-minute chart. The daily looks even better. Underlying trend line 1, 2, 3, 4-time pivot area, bouncing off the 200 period moving average. Flag. This 39.79. Here we come. Here we come. And so the stocks that are underlying this ETF, like Duke Energy and Southern and Ecto Petro, these stocks are all set up. So if you're interested, we're in Duke Energy. Picture perfect level here, off the trend line, starting to move up, gaining momentum. Feel very good about this one. Southern, not in it, but great setup. Really good support here off this sideways channel. Going to pop out of this, probably break higher out of this larger channel. You see the channel within the channel here? But the key here, oversold, support, dual stochastics, multiple time frame right at this level. Southern, PSA we're also in. PSA, perfect entry yesterday, or the day before, or whenever we got into this. Right off the lower trend line, pivot area, everything good. Now we're going to break out of this. We got options in it. They're up. All right, so excuse my cough here. So expect more of this next week. And we got some other special things going on. We're going to bring back Sure Trade of the Day, Sure Trader Challenge, Sure Trade of the Day. And look for that to start midweek next week. And check out the broker Sure Trader. I'm going to try to get them to come on. We're going to try to do something Wednesday, as they're doing a webinar, so I'd like to have that going on the site Wednesday evening about 5 o'clock. And we're going to tear up the markets next week. So I'll see everyone in the markets. If you're a member, please hold on. You'll be catching the active watch list and all the new setups for the week. Talk to you Monday.